I'm 55 years of age, American, living in Jamaica, banking, transportation, Wi-Fi issues, which I've had for the past several days.
A lot of people believe that changing geography changes internal struggles, but emotional wounds, insecurity, anxiety, loneliness, regret, identity crisis, it all goes with you. If you're changing location, all of these things travel with you. People tend to often romanticize escape. Oh, I want to move to the islands. And they automatically think their life gets better. And in some ways, it does. But changing your location also means unlearning a lot of things, getting used to new things, learning how to live without a lot of things, adapting to a new culture, new people, new emotional stress, new emotional struggles. The video that I'm sharing with you today is of a woman, I believe her name is Matisha. She recently moved from America to Jamaica, and she is sharing what that life has been like thus far.
People always love to highlight the highs of living abroad. The beaches, the slower pace of life, the fruit, the food, the ocean views, the freedom, the fantasy of it all. And yes, those things are real. But in my opinion, people don't talk enough about the emotional lows of living abroad, especially as an American woman starting over in another country later in life. I'm 55 years of age, American, living in Jamaica, and while this experience has been beautiful in many, many ways, it has also humbled me very deeply. Because living here is not a vacation. It's not a 2-week escape where you sip drinks and post sunsets. It becomes your real life, your everyday life, and real life follows you wherever you go. One of the hardest parts nobody talks about is loneliness. Not physical loneliness, but emotional loneliness. There's a certain type of isolation that comes from being somewhere where nobody knew the before version of you. Nobody remembers your childhood stories, your old jobs or businesses, your favorite places, or the woman you were 20 years ago. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. And when you move abroad later in life, you realize how much comfort comes from familiarity. Back in the United States, I knew how things worked automatically. I knew the systems, I knew the rhythm, I knew how to get things done quickly, I knew exactly what to expect. But living in Jamaica means constantly adapting. Simple things suddenly require more patience, more planning, more emotional energy. Banking, transportation, Wi-Fi issues, which I've had for the past several days. I've had phone issues, healthcare, paperwork, shopping, deliveries, communication differences, cultural differences. Even figuring out where to buy certain basic things can just become an all-day thing. And after a while, that constant adjustment can become mentally exhausting. And another thing people don't talk about is grief. Not grief from death, but grief from change. You grieve old routines, friendships, your old home, your independence, your identity, even if you choose this life willingly. Sometimes you miss stupid things that make no sense, like a grocery store, a familiar smell, conversations where nobody asks where you're from.
Some of you may be familiar with what she's talking about. If you are a Jamaican living in America or Canada or the UK, traveling back and forth, visiting the country, you know that there are certain life differences. There are systemic differences. There are environmental differences. And when you're in these first world countries for years, sometimes you get accustomed to the way things work. You start adapting to the new system, and then you become overly comfortable with convenience. For example, ordering something on Amazon and it shows up the next day. If you're hungry, you can just order some food. It shows up at your doorstep. Having unlimited Wi-Fi at home that doesn't glitch or doesn't tell you, hey, loading. The convenience of going to a grocery store and getting everything you need in one place, or ordering your groceries like I do sometimes.
And then there's the emotional reality of being seen as a foreigner. People may assume you have money even if you don't. They may think your life is easier than it is. They may project stereotypes onto you before they even know your heart. Sometimes you feel admired, sometimes misunderstood. And I feel misunderstood a lot of time here.
Now, this is another issue that a lot of returning residents have to deal with on a daily basis when they move back to Jamaica. People tend to treat you as an outsider instead of a member of the community or a member of the family. People tend to treat you as though, hey, you're American, you're Canadian, you're coming from your first world country. It must mean you have money. And this also results in being ripped off quite often. Some of you returning residents can attest to that. The moment they hear a different accent, the moment your clothes looks different, your price doubles or triples. Your price becomes different from what a local will get.
Sometimes isolated. Sometimes all of them in the same day. And there's also the pressure people put on you to act grateful all the time because you live in paradise. But paradise still has hard days. You can live near beautiful water and still cry at night. You can hear tropical birds and still feel anxiety. You can post pretty videos online while questioning yourself, your choices, your future. And if you're strong enough to really do this, like living abroad doesn't magically heal emotional wounds. Sometimes it magnifies them. Because when you leave behind distractions and all the busyness and everything familiar, you meet yourself more deeply than ever before, and that can be uncomfortable. I think a lot of people imagine moving abroad means escaping life, but what really happens is life simply changes scenery. You still have bills, you still have relationship struggles, fears, health concerns, loneliness, hormones, aging, trauma, uncertainty. You still carry yourself with you wherever you go. And for women, especially starting over later in life, can feel both empowering and terrifying simultaneously. And that's a crazy feeling. There are days when I feel strong and deeply connected to this life I'm building here. And there are days I feel tired, vulnerable, homesick, stretched thin. Both things can exist at the same time. And I just feel we need more honesty about living abroad, not to discourage people, but to humanize the experience. Because the truth is, moving to another country doesn't automatically make you happy. It simply gives you a different environment to continue becoming who you are. And some days that journey feels so beautiful. And some days, like today, it feels very, very hard.
Most people tend to only focus on the highlights of moving to the islands. Oh, it's great, the sunshine, the beaches. But do you have the time to be on the beach every day? Sometimes it gets overly hot and it's something you're not used to, so you can't even be outside. You can't get groceries or certain things that you're accustomed to because it's not even in the country. And I think the experience is different based on age as well. If you're a younger person, your experience might be different because you're probably more agile or more able to adapt and start afresh. But starting over at 55, you already have certain things embedded in your system, in your routine, certain friendships, certain connections, certain things that you're used to. Starting over at this age will be exceptionally more difficult navigating the system. She mentioned healthcare. Healthcare is also an issue there. But then again, it's also an issue in a lot of places. But there may be more access for her where she's coming from. The tourism in Jamaica especially sells the country as some form of product, paradise, the ultimate escape. But living there means you're interacting with the system, the issues, unlearning certain things. It's not just interacting with the scenery. It's not just going to a resort for a week or two and then flying back to America or Canada. Everyone's experience and struggle is different. I recently reacted to another video of another Jamaican woman who is complaining about the quality of life she has here in Canada and how horrible it is for her. And that is also true. 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 things can be true at the same time based on everyone's personal experience. No two people walk the same path. So while someone here in Canada or America may be uncomfortable, overly stressed, overly stimulated, demotivated, tired of the business, struggling. While that may be true, moving abroad and finding new struggles, new stress, not being able to navigate the system and not being able to access the things that you're used to can also be true. It really comes down to what you can handle, the resources you have, the community you have. How much are you willing to shift? Are you willing to walk away from everything that you're used to? Everything that you love, to find new things that you love, and to start getting used to new lifestyles. A lot of the times people think that geographic change will somehow eliminate the internal issues that they have, when really, most of the times it comes down to shedding things from your personal life. A lot of the times it's not really moving. Sometimes people are overly stressed and tired in these countries because their job is horrible. The people around them are constantly draining the life out of them. Their routines are not set in a way where it benefits them emotionally, physically, psychologically. Sometimes the best thing you can do is reassess, take a step back and look at your life. What are the things in my life that's actually hurting me? What are the things in my life that's stressing me out? Sometimes it's not moving that will solve it, because you're taking all of the insecurities, the anxieties, the identity crises, the stress. You're taking all of that with you when you move. Most of the times it's really shedding the things in your life. Sometimes it's the job. Maybe you need to leave that job. Maybe you need to find another job, or you need to find your passion, something that you love doing. Work is never work when you love what you do. Work is work. Work is stress. Work is a headache when you're doing something that you hate and that you feel as though you have to do for a paycheck. Sometimes it's walking away from the partner you have. Sometimes that's the person causing you hurt or psychological issues, emotional stress. Sometimes it's finding a new hobby. Sometimes it's finding a new routine. You have people in Jamaica who are overly happy, love the country, love the culture, thriving. While that's true, you have people who move there like Matisha, who are struggling to integrate into the culture, the community, the different changes. You also have people in these countries, America, Canada, who are overly happy with their life, happy with their choices, happy with the routines and the quality of life they have. While you also have people here who are struggling, can't make ends meet, hate the quality of life they have, hate their jobs, just struggling overall. This woman has a YouTube channel for herself. You can go over to her channel, subscribe, watch her videos, give her a like. Her name's Matisha Suda. Check out her channel. If you're a fellow Jamaican or a returning resident who have some experience on navigating the changes from a first world country to the island, you can probably give her some words of encouragement and some information that she may need to assist with adapting and navigating the system there.